So I saw this post from the leading report today, and it says that the Trump administration will now start revoking citizenship of Somali Americans convicted of fraud. And again, this is per the White House Secretary Caroline Leavitt. And we want to talk about this here today because this is actually pretty freaking crazy. And this is something where while there actually might be legal, it might actually be like legal precedent to do this. Clearly, this is probably not something that we should be trying to pursue. If Americans, from anywhere, just start committing fraud, right? Maybe if you were to be like, look, any American who commits fraud, who is, a naturalized citizen, they're coming into this country, they're committing these crimes. It's like you're gonna get, sent back, denaturalized, right? If he were to say something like that, like you might be like, okay, well, like I might not like the idea per se, or I do like the idea, but it's what it is. But this is just specifically targeting the Somali Americans. Like, dude, you can't do that, man. That's xenophobic. You cannot do that. But yet he's doing it, and we live in the big 2025. And there's like certain things, like this is not necessarily racist, although let's be honest here. I mean, you technically can make that case. It's definitely xenophobic though, because you could be like a white person who's also a Somali, right? You could be a Somalian, right? If you could be white and Somali, just from Somalia, right? So, I mean, technically speaking, but having said that, this is bad. This is really bad. And it doesn't look good for him, right? It does not look good one bit. So let's talk about here. What are some of the legal recourse that he does have? Well, technically speaking, they could do this. And the way in which they could do this is because there's something called a good moral character argument. And so if you were not of good moral character 5 years before you applied for citizenship, then and they found out about that, then you could technically be denaturalized. You could have your citizenship revoked. However, having said that, if you were found guilty of a crime once you are a naturalized citizen, there's really not much they can do. Barring like very extreme cases, like maybe like if you're like a war criminal, for example, maybe they could go after you. But the president of the United States is a war criminal, and so it just has been found guilty yet. Right? I mean, so alleged, I don't know, but dude commits war crimes, by every definition under the sun. So I don't know. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, technically speaking, right, they can revoke your citizenship, right, if they found out that you did stuff beforehand, right? So in the case of the Somalis, right, let's say you're running like a Somali daycare, right? You're committing fraud against the government, and the Trump administration now wants to go after you, right? It's like, well, they can't revoke your citizenship if they find you guilty. But what they can do is if they found out that you were committing those things before you were a citizen, right? So, this crimes obviously extend over time, right? So let's say you've been committing fraud for 2 years, right? And 1 year in, you got your citizenship, and they find you a year from then that you were guilty. Well, if they can prove that it was from over that year ago, then they could say, well, there was false pretenses in that application. You weren't actually of good moral character, and therefore that's fraudulent, and we're going to revoke your citizenship, right? So that's essentially how it works. Very shady, right? But they technically probably could do this, which is wild. And like Trump, I mean, the government can get away with all types of BS, right? Like doing things to certain countries and picking on them. If you remember back in Trump's first term, he had the Muslim ban, which is just like, bro, like, dude, like there's like certain things that you just can't do. Right. And that's one of the things, right? You can't just be banning people from a particular country. Like that's like such a no. I think that should be like a no on like all sides of the aisle. And like, one of the things Trump will say in his defense is like, okay, well, Somalia is not a good place. And it's like, okay. It's like, but they're in the United States. They're not in Somalia. It's like, so, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on, dude. And it's like, they probably left for a reason so they can be here. And it's like, just if you take a couple people here who were, fraudulently running a daycare, at least allegedly, it's like, well, then, you can't use that as a descriptor for all Somalians. Like, come on, man, you can't do that, right? That's xenophobia at its core. If not, it could probably be even racist. And so, for the love of God, man, this is not good, dude. Like, why can't we just judge people based on their own individual moral character? It's like, oh, wait, I know why. It's like, because we have to distract the Americans from what really does matter, which is the fact that the government will not release the bloody Epstein files. How about that? And then they're protecting the elite. right? And that the military-industrial complex is thriving, right? And that we got citizens who can't even get health care in this country. People dying all the time, left and right. And this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous, right? How about the fact that we're distracted here from, the economy going up in flames right now, right? And nobody's seeming to care, right? And sometimes we can't even get the accurate numbers because the Trump administration wants you to deny your own eyes. They want you to deny your own. I had this good quote, and I just had to go pull it up here because I totally forgot what the exact wording was. And it's from 1984, and it says, Sime had ceased to exist. He had never existed, right? The government wants you to deny things that you know to be true, things that you believe in your heart of heart. I got another quote here I just pulled up. So this quote is also from 1984, and just tell me, does this not feel like what we are living in today and experiencing today? It says, quote, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command, end quote. Tell me that's not what we're experiencing here today. You're right? Like, the economy is in flames. Everybody knows that to be true. It's like the worst job market in decades. Right? People are struggling. They don't have money to pay for emergency expenses anymore, right? Wages have been completely stagnant. House prices have skyrocketed. Food prices have skyrocketed. I just saw something the other day. I think you could get, I believe it was in 2005, you could get 22 McDonald's cheeseburgers. And today you can only get, I think, 6 for just $20. Like, tell me how messed up that is, man. And everybody knows it's true, but the government will tell you that it's not. And they're going to tell you that it's fine, it's amazing, we're doing wonderful things. This is the best economy in the world. It's so good, it's amazing. In fact, my friend told me the other day it was so wonderful, it was so great. And he's a wonderful guy, but he told me that it was amazing. He told you it was the best economy he's ever seen. He said, you're doing a wonderful job. He said, you're doing a great job, Trump. But this is what we are experiencing, ladies and gentlemen. But if you say that, then somehow, we are in the wrong here. And it's not the people in power, right? So they're the ones distracting us. They're the ones who want to, what do they call it? The Overton window, right? They only want you to, see what it is they want you to see. And right now, they want to show you the whole Somali case, right? They don't want you to think about the Epstein files. They don't want you to think about healthcare, right? They want you to think about, the Somali daycare fraud, which who even knows if this is what's going on, right? Clearly, the regulators did not find any fraud for the last who knows however many years. But now this is starting to be exposed. So maybe there is something there. And if there is, that's wonderful. We'll go after those people. But what we can't do at the end of the day is say, just because you're from one country, we're going to start revoking your citizenship because of fraud. We can't say that, right? Because if you're going to do it for one, you got to do it for all. And that's clearly not what this administration wants. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy the video here, please be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. A little bit all over the place today. Some cuts in the video, which I never really do. But try to get us to 400 subscribers, and we'll talk to you later. Peace.